Welcome back. Please subscribe. I'm reading from Changeling the Lost. Today, we're reading The Seeming of the Fairest. This story concerns a young man who dreamed of the love of a beautiful girl in his village. One night, he made a special cake from a recipe he learned from his grandmother, and he waited in the dark for a fairy to come and take it. The door opened, a dark, tall fairy came in. He said to the fairy, "Not for you," but he said in this. He shouldn't have spoken to her. So he sat and waited a little longer, and the door opened. A loathly hag stepped in. The hag reached out her hand for the cake, but the young man tapped her on the wrist and said, "Not for you." He sinned in this. He shouldn't have touched her. So he sat and he waited a little longer, and the door opened. A lady of unearthly beauty and grace stepped in, and he could say nothing. So stunned was he, and the lady said, "For me," and took the cake. She stayed with him after that, this lady. She granted his wishes, but somehow they were always twisted. He wished for money, and soon he married an ugly old woman in the hopes that she would die and leave him nothing. The old woman proved healthier than he could have imagined, and was cruel and mean. The youth turned to his fey lady again and wished the old woman dead. True to her word, the fey lady brought the plague to the town, and the old woman died. But so did the young man's sweetheart. He gained the mean old woman's riches, but his love was dead, and he wished himself dead, and he fell into a deep sleep. He awoke in his coffin, buried 6 feet under the ground, and as he began to beat upon the wood, he heard a sweet, sweet voice say, "For me." And if anyone were to dig up his coffin, they would find nothing there but dried leaves and stones. This is the way of the Fae, and it's the way of the Pharaohs. They take what they want and whom they will take, and they will have their fun first. It is the prerogative to be loved and admire, and the right to treat that love any way they will. Sure, they'll try to rise above it, but there's always the fact that they really are the fairest of them all. They won their beauty fairly. They deserve to be beautiful. The fairest consider their own flight through the hedge the hardest to have affected. The world they are a part of, or as much as it is as they remember, was beautiful. A world of sweet pain and pleasant cruelty and bittersweet paradise, surrounded by beauty as they were. Thralls to creatures 1,000 times lovelier than anything on earth, they had to focus all their thoughts on remembering what it was to be plain, to walk among the ordinary. Those who do leave, then, are those who had enough of a sense of self to be able to abandon ecstasy, and they know it. They brought back their seeming from the Fey realm, and with it they brought back cruelty. And this cruelty is sometimes amplified by the arrogance that comes from knowing that they were pure enough of heart and strong enough of will to escape. Often the Pharisees believe that they should be far more influential and powerful in their courts than they actually are, mistaking social powers and ruthlessness for the qualities of leadership. Some manage by sheer force of personality and charm alone to rise to the top, but there are more Pharisees in positions of authority than there are Pharisees who know what they're doing. So that is today's reading, The Ferris. I will be doing some more later on today.